All right, Nick. No guarantees that this makes any sense. I mean, first of all, you don't have to worry about calling me an automaton. Um, I fully understand that I have no choice whether or not I understand that I am an automaton. Um, Whatever I do is what happens, and I can tell myself I chose for it to happen, but really that's just another thing that's happening. Uh, doesn't have any relation, any causal relation to the I thought I was that occurred before the I that thought it controlled what it was. It's just a continual I thinking that it thought, that it thought, that it thought, that it thought, you know. So, right. So, but feeling somehow continues, and there is a unity to my experience, which is just a feeling. It's the feeling that wins. But there's a unity to it that continues through time, and I carry a sense of being myself. I carry a sense of the relationships I have with other people, with other creatures, with my dog, and so forth, with me as I pass through time. So the I is in reference to this continuity of experience that if we fail to continue to experience, we become psychotic. And typically, our society of persons who have continuity of experience, um, they take us, well, if we act up at least, they take us and they put us away and they study us and give us drugs and so forth. And, if we're really lacking any continuity in our I-ness, then they'll keep us locked up in there forever. Um, and it's not that this doesn't happen. So, see, the I, this continuity of experience, is not a given. I mean, you kind of have to achieve it. Um, and again, I'm not talking about something separate from the body, the physical body. I'm talking about something that's just evident to our experience as a body. The body is an experiential process. Um, the word body is a noun, so we think the body is a thing, um, and therefore also that any I inside of it is also a thing. But really, there are no things, right? There are only processes, there are only verbs, and the body is a verb. The I, which is just a way of referring to this ongoing continuity of experience, which is obviously associated with every one of our bodies, the I is a process. See, it's not a thing. Neither is the body. Neither is the world, the universe. It's not a thing. The universe itself is a process. And we processes within that process. And the whole thing feels itself as it you know processes. So what is a feeling, first of all? I mean, because I agree, we're a bundle of feelings, and the unity that we experience as ourselves, our I, is the feeling or contrast between feelings that wins out of this, competition between all of our cells, all of our neurons, for our attention. Um, but there's still a feeling that wins, and that's why we have this word I. That's all it refers to, the feeling that wins. Um, but then we have to ask, why do certain feelings win? And it seems that the feelings that do win tend to be for the best. It's not that the universe is perfect, but if you look at the evolution of this universe, assuming the Big Bang model of the expanding universe is accurate, at least vaguely accurate, it seems that this thing that expanded and came into this space-time continuum um, has tended to organize as time goes on. We have these laws of thermodynamics which say the opposite, that any matter and energy in a closed container should tend to fall apart, to become more random and disordered, because this is what we find on our planet when we build machines. But it seems that the universe itself is actually an open system, and so the laws of thermodynamics don't necessarily apply. It's continually expanding the universe, and these gravity wells or sinks seem to open up, and matter accumulates there, and so a gradient is created constantly because it's expanding and expanding, and space-time is getting pulled into these sinks, right? And so they separate matter and energy, and then the process to return to equilibrium that energy is compelled to go through creates this free energy for even more complexity to emerge. So on these balls of matter, like stars and the solar systems around them, on a particular planet in that solar system, like Earth, say, the light from the sun hits the surface, and it creates a huge gradient again between, it's like 5,800 Kelvin of the temperature of the sunlight, and then outer space is like 2.7 Kelvin, and so a tremendous difference there, and the difference creates a tension in a situation where energy is continually flowing into the system and then needing somewhere to go. And where did it go? It went straight into the molecules, the macromolecules and proteins and amino acids that were floating around the primordial seas 4.5 billion years ago. And they shot into life because of this free energy. Organized themselves into these spheres of intelligence, survival machines, survival automatons, if you want to call them that. They're auto-producing systems, self-creating machines, but they seem to continue to complexify. They start swallowing each other, and you go from prokaryotic to eukaryotic cells, and then the eukaryotic cells start, having sex with one another, and then all of a sudden you're getting societies of cells living together permanently in a relationship of differentiated individuality, where they're creating this new organism, a new whole, a new identity, a full new identity arises out of what used to be separate individual cells, and and then these things go through all these stages of evolution, these multicellular organisms, and they become jellyfish and fish and amphibians and reptiles and small mammals, and then primates, and then hominids, and then Neanderthals, and then Homo erectus, and then Homo sapiens. And we decide to start history and invent agriculture and writing and religion and science. We invent the internet and exchange virtual pictures of each other, while the world is, Obama won the presidency, but the presidency of the United States doesn't seem capable of solving the problems that the planet is facing. So all of this has happened, and it's so complicated now, but at least to me it seems tremendously meaningful. There is something going on now, and it doesn't seem to be an accident. That doesn't mean I know exactly what it is. It just means I feel compelled to act in a certain way in this situation. And apparently, nature, as it has evolved up to this point, has acted in a rather intelligent way, because there's some amazing and terrible things going on.